for some, afternoon. I'm not a real tech person, and so forgive me when I have to switch over to my slide. I got to hit
I think we lost our Kumo.
Josh.
Jocelyn, you back on?
Yeah, she coming in. She coming in.
Okay.
okay.
There you
I
go.
was supposed to hit got it, and I hit cancel. Sorry. I didn't mean to leave you guys.
That's right. You had us all on the edge of our seats, Jocelyn, waiting.
That was the shortest class I ever been to.
There you go. So I want you guys to have a discussion on what you just learned. Don't try to do something you don't know. So I have my daughter standing by for when I have to do the share screen. My name is Joyclynn Costa. I live on the island of Maui. In Haiku, my family is actually from Nahiku, east end of Maui, more particular the Ko'olau, down to Opiko'ula, where our ohana comes from. Our family name is Kauimo. I have some family that I've never ever met. Our genealogy and our family history came at a time of this taking over, and so my tutu man ended up in Kalaupapa, and we really were struggling to find out what happened to our family, and we thought we were the only ones. So as we started this journey, we found out who we were, who we belonged to, and we're still reaching and learning. So caveat, I am not an attorney, nor am I actually a kumu. I'm one that receives information, and with that blessing, I share it and do with it what you want. Challenge it, you know. Do not take anything I tell you for face value, but utilize it in a way that can be beneficial for you, as long as you know you do go beyond what is shared today. So with that, I know that some people had the idea that I was going to come today and speak on Royal Patent Land Commission awards, kind of, sort of. But what I'd like everybody to realize is, to get to that journey, to that end point, we need to know how to get there, what to do, because it's like I look at it like a landmine. Each time you're walking and you step on something and it triggers something else, and you think that you're in the clear, and then boom, something else comes up, and then you think you're in the clear, and boom, something else comes up. So always try to na, yeah, and maka'ala, makahele, and we can get through this landmine, because it's not impossible. It's not where it's so saturated that we cannot walk. We just need to be mindful of how we walk and where we step. And as long as we stay within our lane, we're good. So with that, I'm going to hit the share screen. A host disabled participant screen sharing. Okay. Connie, I go need the share screen. Hit it again.
Okay.
Aloha, Debbie. Aloha, Ui.
Okay. Beautiful. Okay, I think we get them now.
You good?
Share. Okay, so my thing starts with what is in a word. What's in a word? And if you see on the screen, there are several different things that might be familiar, maybe not, such as pala. Yeah, a lot of people have heard of a pala, Aina, Hawaiian laws of Hawaii, Land Commission Award, Malama. Yeah, so what is in a word? I want you folks to take your time when you do things, when you see things, when you read things. So we'll start out with a little puzzle. First off, so in my introduction, we're going to learn how to do observation, not just rush into it. Like I said, it's like a landmine out there. And then we're going to have to do some interpretation. Is it grass? Is it dirt? Is it sand? Is it a landmine that we're looking at? How do we know? And once we can figure that out, how do we apply it? Do we step there? Do we not step there? Do we avoid there? Do we revisit there? And with the observation, interpretation, and application, I would encourage everyone to have discussion. Because even in my own research and information discoveries, I may have my own preconceived idea on what I'm reading and how I'm understanding it. But with the gift I had, which was Kamaunu, Kaniloa, and Johanna, I was able to discern and be open with this discussion to see exactly whether I was correct in my own mind and understanding, or if I needed to do some readjustment and then come to either my summary or conclusion. So everybody can see that on the screen. It's a picture, yeah, and it says 5 differences. So when you first look at the picture, it looks pretty much the same, yeah? But who can give me some differences? Once you answer one correctly, then we'll go give someone else a chance. And you can unmute yourself and tell me where you see the difference.
Aloha, this is Stacy. On the big picture window, the left side doesn't have that white sign at the top in the middle of it, but
Perfect.
the right side has one, the left side doesn't.
Okay, that's good observation. What else is, thank you, Stacy. What else is different in this picture? Anybody want to chime in?
What I like.
This
Can I
is-
go?
Go.
It's Kalani. The left side behind the building, there's a palm tree, I guess. And the right side, you don't see.
Very good. That's 2. We got 5 of them. So we got 3 more to go. Thank you, Kalani. And as we're observing this, you see how if we're not careful to make sure we look at things, we could miss, yeah, things. So we have 2. We have the open sign on one side and no open sign on the other. We have a looks like a coconut tree on the top, 0. Okay, go ahead.
Aloha, Auntie Nani Ke'i. The white line on the road is different.
Yes, that was one that really stumped me. Very good. Mahalo. Aloha, Auntie Punan.
Aloha.
So that's 3. We got 2 more to go, gang.
Okay.
Oh, Auntie Ponani, aloha, welcome.
Okay, anybody
Aloha,
else?
mai, everybody.
Yes. So we have the line on the road, palm tree up above, and the open sign in the window. There's 2 more to go. Okay, Sherry Ann, unmute.
The surfboard with the blue on it, the one on the left has just one line, and the one on the right on the bottom has like 2.
May kai. Now we got the last one to go.
The open sign, did you guys already say that?
Open sign is done.
Did
Okay,
they get the white line?
the white line too.
The white line is done.
Calamai, we just got on.
No. No, participation is good.
Surfboard with it, yeah. Anything else you guys see?
The coconut tree on the by the roof, we got that one.
Okay.
So got 1 more to go.
Wait, sorry. The post,
Oh, hello, everybody.
Hello, huh?
the post on the top of the roof,
The sticker?
sticker,
open sign.
The sticker?
or the sticker on the
Punch buggy?
Volkswagen on the window.
That's number
Open
5. Yes, so we have the open sign. We have the coconut tree. We have the line in the road. We have the surfboard, and we have the sticker in the rear window of the Volkswagen. 5. So you see, if we was to just have rushed through and just looked at this, it would look like 2 same pictures. And maybe we find some differences, but we may not find all. And if I had not told you there were 5 differences, we might not have found it all. So there is a reason why we need to do our observation, do the interpretation, do the application and discussion. You know, it was found easier, I think, because we participated together and we had the help from each other. Yes, Kamanu.
I just want to acknowledge the Antipunani and also the Johnson Ohana who just joined us.
Oh, mahalo. Yes. Okay, so now we're going to go to the next picture. Nana, look at these 2. Difference, same. Any discussion on these 2? Different or same?
Yeah, and just really quickly for everybody in the class, the reason why the Kamaunus, myself, were remaining silent is we all promised not to jump in to the pop-up, because once all 4 of us start talking, you guys not going to learn nothing.
So
Is
let me-
it because one says Kamehameha the third? They don't have that on the other one.
Okay, what are we looking at? Can somebody tell me what we're really looking at in these pictures?
That's a good one. One is the Constitution and laws that was established during Kamehameha time, and the other one is revised statutes. Way after. Revised.
Okay. Okay,
Anybody else? What do you guys see? Sorry, Kalamai.
yeah, no.
What do you guys? Mhm.
I see the translation of the Constitution and laws, the Hawaiian lands, established in the reign, and Kamehameha III behind the Luna. What is Michi's Hawaii Revised Statute? Annotated.
So he's saying that he sees a translation of the constitutional laws, and then during Kamehameha third time, and then he's asking question, what is the Michi's Hawaii Revised Statutes annotated?
Okay. So I'm going to share with you in my observation and interpretation. For me, the application is the same. It is law books. They're both law books. The difference would be at what period of time or of what nation state. However, these are law books. These are books to establish and enforce law. These are books that are established to enforce law on people that it has authority over. So in that case, when we look at like on the other picture, it looked the same, but it had differences. This one looks different, but it actually operates the same. In fact, and I just picked this one blue book, but there's several volumes. If you look at in the blue tile, the dark blue tile is volume 4A, title 13. But these are Hawaii revised statutes. But does anyone know where this Hawaii revised statute is established and founded on? In other words, 1-1 of these statutes. Can anybody tell me? So I'll share with you the Hawaii revised statute. If you go and Google it and ask for chapter 1-1, it's established from the Kanawai Kingdom Law of 1892, Penal Code of 1869, and Civil Code of 1859. So relatively speaking, these can be kind of the same books. The application actually can be, and I'm going to show you why. So now we can see the differences, right? The other picture, let me see if I can go back. Looks similar, but get differences. And then this picture look different, but actually similar. So let's look at this. So this is established as far as our Kanawai. And then what happened? Oh, Organic Act. Anybody can tell me what the Organic Act is? So the Organic Act was created when they so-called illegally overthrew our nation state and was starting to establish their own government. Yeah, an act to provide a government for the territory of Hawaii. So in chapter 1, it starts off with definitions. And so the definition, number 1, is establishing their laws. I need a volunteer. Can somebody read that first paragraph? Anybody can. No volunteers? Hui Pono? Just definition 1, first paragraph. I see somebody. Hold on. Okay, so the definition is that the phrase, the laws of Hawaii, as used in this act, without qualifying words, remember what's in a word? Without qualifying words shall mean the Constitution and laws of the Republic of Hawaii in force on the 12th day of August, 1898, at the time of the transfer of the sovereignty of the Hawaiian Islands to the United States of America. So they're trying to make these things real in their mind. So as we examine this Organic Act, we go to section 6, and it says laws of Hawaii. And what is that? The laws of Hawaii, as used in this act, shall be the Constitution and laws of the Republic of Hawaii. So in section 6, it says that the laws of Hawaii not consistent with the Constitution or laws of the United States or the provisions of this act shall continue in force subject to repeal or amendment by the legislature of Hawaii or the Congress of the United States. Why am I reading this? Oh my goodness. Because this is also part of our history and it is real. And so we have to look at everything, just like that first picture, just like the second picture. We really need to look at everything as we progress to today. So everything means even what is provided in the notes on the bottom. And so if we look at the notes on the bottom, meaning of laws of Hawaii, see section 1, which we read earlier. Also, pursuant to section 73C, certain land laws are not subject to repeal or amendment by legislature without approval of Congress. We got to look at that, you know, and these are some things that you may want to note down and do your own discoveries. I highly encourage you, because I'm not going to give you all of the answers, but I'm going to give you some things to really think about and give you that compelling urge to want to discover and learn more. So the next line, all parts of this act must be considered in determining what Hawaiian laws were continued in force. Did you folks hear that? I'll read it again. All parts of this act must be considered in determining what Hawaiian laws were continued in force. Did they say laws of Hawaii? No, it's saying Hawaiian laws. So we can see that our laws didn't go away. In fact, it continued in force. Any questions so far? I cannot hear anybody. Hopefully nobody, I don't skip over anybody. Go
You were
ahead.
muted the whole time.
Huh?
Muted the whole time.
No way.
I was trying to read it, but
Okay,
Yeah.
wait then. How come
Okay,
it's,
next.
I'm not, wait now. Kalai, hold on. No,
Josh,
I don't know.
Ooh, nice background.
Jocelyn. Jocelyn,
can you hear me?
Jocelyn, can you hear me?
I
Yeah, I
heard
can hear
you.
both of you.
Oh, you heard me?
Yeah, I heard you.
Jocelyn,
Okay.
reboot your PowerPoint.
Okay. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Go do this, reboot this.
You stay playing games after that.
I tell you. I was wondering, how come nobody like volunteer?
Connie, you see the blue?
Yeah. What is
Somebody
that?
hijacks. That means somebody hijacking the meeting. I've seen this before.
Oh, I was wondering what that was.
Yeah.
Where
So,
I don't see anything. So
There's like blue squiggly lines in the middle of
Yeah.
the screen.
oh, I see. Yeah, I was wondering about that.
So what does this mean?
so that means you probably should try to reboot, close your account, try to get back on. If it's still on the screen for all of us, then this meeting has been compromised. We'll have to get back, reset it.
Pilau. What the
Yeah,
heck?
it happens. There you go.
Okay, now I go back.
Yeah, now try go back.
This? Oh, shit.
Oh, that's the first time I've ever seen that.
I didn't realize everybody vanished.
Kanawai.
No.
There you go.
There you go. Good.
All right.
We
So
good?
Is there something I should do to stop that? Or?
What if the teachers over here talking from up here?
No, we can pass that. We can pass that.
Yeah. It just, there's really nothing you can do. Just every once in a while, some kolohe baga like get in and you can try kapulu kapakahi the presentation.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So we left off with participation on this. Can I go move forward from here?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, we can see at that time an act to provide a government for the territory of Hawaii. This is the Organic Act in 1900, and they begin their book or their act with definitions. And so the first definition is establishing their law. So again, if we read definition 1, that the phrase, the laws of Hawaii, as used in this act without qualifying words. Remember today, our theme is what's in a word, yeah? They have no qualifying words. Without qualifying words shall mean the Constitution and laws of the Republic of Hawaii in force on the 12th day of August, 1898, at the time of the transfer of the sovereignty of the Hawaiian Islands to the United States of America. Yuck. Who wants to read that? I do, because I need to know. So within this Organic Act, if we go to section 6, and please let me know if you cannot hear me, okay? We go to section 6. Can I have a volunteer to read just that section 6?
Sections.
Right here.
That the laws of Hawaii are inconsistent with the Constitution or laws of
The United States or the provisions of this act shall continue in force, subject to repeal or amendment by the legislature of Hawaii or the Congress of the United States.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, gross, yeah? Maybe. This is for the laws of Hawaii. And who is the laws of Hawaii go to? If we look at the definition, it's highlighted.
Here.
The Republic of Hawaii.
Republic of Hawaii.
Yeah. Okay, so when we're doing our research, it's always good to read thoroughly. Yeah. We need to look at all the different words. So if you look just below in their citation, I guess you call it, or their notes, it says meaning of laws of Hawaii, see section 1. So that's what we read. The laws of Hawaii means the laws and constitution for the Republic of Hawaii. And so it goes back to our first lesson with Kaniloa having our identity. And if we can properly know our identity, we know we were not under the Republic of Hawaii. We were still under our nation state of Hawaii through the Ku'e petition and other genealogy. So let's read the next one. Pursuant to section 73C, I'm down at the notes again. Pursuant to section 73C, certain land laws are not subject to repeal or amendment by legislature without approval of Congress. That's pretty interesting. Certain land laws are not subject to repeal or amendment. Who'd like to read the next one? Up until the word force.
All parts of this act must be considered in determining what Hawaiian laws were continued in force.
Maikai. Did everybody get that? Is it the same as the definition laws of Hawaii? All parts of this act must be considered in determining what Hawaiian laws were continued in force. They're giving us the definition and they're giving us the clarity of laws of Hawaii for the Republic of Hawaii. However, certain laws cannot be repealed unless they talk to Congress. And another thing is we have to determine what Hawaiian laws were continued in force. Okay. So let's see one of the laws that we had from Hawaii. This is from our Kanawai of 1872, chapter 21, section 1. Can someone read for me? If you can find it, section 1, it starts with every royal patent. Volunteer. Okay, let me start. Section 1. Every royal patent hereafter issued upon an award of the Board of Commissioners to quiet land titles shall be in the name of the person to whom the original award was made, even though such person be deceased or the title to the real estate thereby granted have been alienated, and all royal patents so issued shall inure to the benefit of the heirs and assigns of the holder of such original award. Okay, so even if the person has been deceased or the title to the real estate thereby granted have been alienated. What's in a word? I looked up alienated and I found that it could be that it transferred to someone else is using it, it got sold. So even if it's alienated, all royal patents shall inure to the benefit of who? The person who bought it, the person who transferred it, the state, county, or government that quiet titled or eminent domained it. No, it says shall inure to the benefit of the heirs and assigns of the holder of such original award. Let's see what it says now. In the Hawaii Revised Statute 172-11, can someone read that one for me?
Land patents on land commission awards to whom for whose benefit.
Go ahead.
Land patents on land commission awards to whom for whose benefit.
Read the whole thing. Every land patent.
Oh, every land, oh, down there.
Mm-hmm.
Every land patent issued upon an award of the Board of Commissioners to quiet and tidy titles shall be in the name of the person to whom the original award was made, even through or though the person is deceased or the title to the real estate thereby granted has been alienated, and all land patents so issued shall inure to the benefit of the heirs and assigns of the holder of the original award.
How's that sound to you guys? Sound the same? Let's look at it side by side.
Yes, participate.
So we have it side by side. You know, like the first picture, it pretty much sounds the
Section
same.
1.
Yeah, section 1 and then 172-11.
Yeah.
Same.
Commissioners, commission awards.
Hereafter issued upon an award of the Board of Commissioners to quiet land title.
Yeah.
So follow me as I'm reading from, you're gonna be looking at the left-hand side and I'll do the right-hand side. Yes, so hereafter, you found where it says, and hereafter, issued upon, okay, issued upon an award of the Board of Commissioners to quiet land titles shall be in the name of the person to whom the original award was made, even though such person be deceased or the title to the real estate thereby granted have been alienated, and all real patents so issued shall inure to the benefit of the heirs and assigns of the holder of such original award. Look the same?
Yes.
Okay, any differences?
No. Nope.
After on the left-hand side, when the reading is done, the original award, do you see the L 1872 C 21?
Yes.
Okay, so they're referring to this law to be the law of 1872, which is on your right-hand side, chapter 21, section 1.
Oh.
But do they have the authority to do chapter 21, section 1?
No.
So,
Commissioners?
and that's the correct answer. If they cannot do it, then they cannot use this exactly. There's something different in 172-11 than there is in chapter 21, section 1. Do they have the authority over our rural patents? Haole. So what did they create for themselves to have authority? Every you guys see that?
Yes, I do.
What gives them the right, Auntie, to do that?
It doesn't. What it doesn't. They talk about land patents in their law.
Yes.
However, our law talks to royal patents.
Oh, that's the
what it
difference.
That's the difference.
Because they're not, so they're talking, so that one on the right-hand side, our right-hand side, talks to the royal patent. So like,
Correct.
you get the royal patent, I'm talking to you. But the one on the left is not talking to the royal patent, but is
Yeah, it's-
using it.
At face value, look the same, but it's not. So therefore, we have to consider what Hawaiian laws are enforced, are still enforced. Yeah. So this whole thing is based on that award of the Land Commission Award. Yeah, that royal patent that is based on that Land Commission Award, because who has that title? It's the original awardee. Okay, so in my discoveries, it wasn't just enough to read that law. I wanted to know what this Land Commission Award actually meant. And so I went to discover what each word meant. And I could have easily just opened up a dictionary and figured that out, but I had to make sure that I was getting the true essence of the intent of these words. And so I went back to the dictionaries that were used back in the time that our laws were created. So in 1872, there was a dictionary called Bouvier, and I pulled and extracted the definitions from there. So land is, this term comprehends any found soil or earth whatsoever as meadow, pasture, woods, waters, marshes. Furs is like forest and health. It has an indefinite extent upward as well as downward Therefore, land legally includes all houses and other buildings standing or built on it, and whatever is in a direct line between the surface and the century of the earth. In other words, you go down until the core. You cannot go puka through the other side of the globe. That half is for whoever's on that side of the globe. So the century of the earth, such as mines of minerals and fossils. Now, what is commission? Commission is the contract, the authority. And we all know that the commissioner's quiet land title was commissioned by the king. So contract law.
I
I'm
see.
sorry? Yes,
Uncle Harry had one question.
Well,
okay.
if you go beneath to the center of the earth, the definition on that land, what about above? No?
Indefinite. If you look at the first one, it's indefinite.
Got it.
Yeah. It has an indefinite extent upward.
Oh.
Our kupuna used to use the stars, yeah, to navigate and to plant and to understand what was coming.
Right.
So it's beyond our atmosphere.
Hmm.
Okay. So the second word is a contract. When one undertakes without reward to do something for another, in respect to a thing or build. So, you know, take a look at some of these words and understand it. But just that one thing alone, when one undertakes without reward to do something for another in respect to a thing built. So who was the one that could give us the land? Only was the ali'i, because he owned everything up until then. And it was gifted to him through our creator, and he knew that. So he wanted to mahele. So, okay, so that checklist, yes, it can be done. This term is frequently used synonymously with mandate. And we all know this word mandate. It's, like a law. If the service the party undertakes to perform for another is the custody of his goods, this particular sort of commission is called a charge. Okay, good so far? We go to the next word, award, because now we did land, commission, award, the judgment of an arbitrator or arbitrators on a matter submitted to him or them. So we had several land commissioners that was assembled to do this work, to create this judgment of sorts. They were considered like a court. They made decisions. Okay, that writing which contains such judgment is also called an award. The qualification requisite to the validity of an award are that it be consonant to the submission, that it be certain, be of things possible to be performed, and not contrary to law or reason. And lastly, that it be final. So when you hear that it be final, now it begs for us to really look at 172-11 or our own laws, chapter 21, section 1, that even if the person is dead, even if the real estate had been alienated, the title stays with the original awardee. Why? Because it is final. You cannot revisit or go redo it. It's final. Oh, going backwards. Okay. So once you get this confidence, this understanding, and there's way more. I'm just giving you a snippet, the tip of the iceberg of information and time spent to get to a point where now we're going to test it because I feel confident. And I want to take you back to 2007. And here we go. Oh, I hope we can do this. Hold on. Closing some applications. Hold on. Kalai, how do I make this go smaller? This screen go smaller? Because it's telling me that too much bandwidth.
To go, Auntie, go up to your left. Put your cursor up to the left of part of the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, and lift it so you're gonna see that the red, the yellow, and green. Then you can press the green button.
Oh, wait. Okay. You
Lift
are.
your cursor
Oh,
to the top.
You share. How do I do that?
So go put your finger, yeah, go all the way to the left hand corner to the top. Lift it up and yeah, lift it, go up.
Oh,
I don't know how come down.
how can I make this less? You see, when I try to start this.
Yeah. There. It started. Yeah.
Can't hear nothing. Oh yeah, I didn't even see that.
Empty valve. Auntie, we just look in here.
Cannot.
Can I hear?
No more the sound.
The thing was, we could hear at one point, but the thing went off. Yeah, your sound button on. That Auntie, on the right hand bottom, get your sound button. Check, see if you can lift them so get the sound. On the right bottom, with the speaker. Yep. Press on that. It's all the way to the top.
Yeah.
I think it's able to play on her end, but not this on ours. Except we didn't have a link to share.
Even like that. Am I louder now if I do that?
No.
No.
No. So just can we get the recording of speakers and TV?
As long as everybody else can hear, maybe just us.
Anybody else cannot hear?
Well, I can't hear either. Johanna.
Oh, that's so sad.
Share the link you're watching this from. That's how you have to play it.
Connie, is there something else I can do?
She probably needed to optimize it in the when she shared it. You know, when you shared your screen, you can unshare and see if you can optimize it. So stop sharing.
Stop sharing.
Yeah. And then go ahead, press your share, and then on the left hand corner there should be like buttons to optimize your everything. You see them on the left hand when she starts to
Optimize. Okay.
yeah. Try see if that works.
Go all the way down to the video to start it. Sorry, guys.
No worries.
So I gave you that. Okay, now we go. Okay, we go back to share. Everybody say hi, Kalai.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, let's Spoke in the beginning.
And I'll see if we can, let's sing one.
Now let's see if you guys hear.
Over who owns a piece of land on Maui led to the arrest of 16 people over the
Can hear?
Good.
Okay, here we go.
weekend. On one side of the land dispute, Hawaiian families have claimed royal lineage to the site in Waiahu. On the other side, the developer of the planned Halemua subdivision. The group says it went to the site yesterday for a cleanup. That's when police told them they were trespassing.
We don't feel we're trespassing because Halemua does not have jurisdiction to that property. They're saying they do, but they have to show me their deed and I'll show them our deed. Now, who has the right of them?
Yeah, baby.
They got all this planted. They got squash and all kinds of stuff along this hill.
The group claims to hold royal patents to the land, which they say are passed down from one generation to another and cannot be sold. Most of those who were arrested were released after posting bail. As of this morning, 6 people remained in custody. The battle cry, keep the country.
Okay. So you guys, everybody could see that, okay?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. So that was, we made the 6 o'clock news saying that we went on this land that was owned by Halemua, and there were 16 of us. Some of us had nothing to do with that land except Kokua, the ohana there. Just Kokua. Not even saying that we had ownership or interest there. And so we all got arrested. So what is the first thing? Some of the group decided that they wanted to do things a certain way. Other members decided they wanted to do things differently. And you're going to find that when we do these things, you have these differences. And it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. We all need to find our way. So I decided I wanted to start sending out letters. And because when I read in the Organic Act, something to do with Congress. So I wrote to Congress. I sent a letter to Mr. Inouye, and I told him, you need to go and talk to your people under the obligation of our queen, because we are Hawaiian nationals and we're being accosted by them. So this is what I get. He writes back to me and says, thank you. And that I expressed my concerns. It says, I would like to thank you for your letter expressing your concerns with circumstances that have arisen with the Maui Police Department. I would be pleased to contact the Chief of Police, Thomas Phillip, at the Maui County Police Department on your behalf regarding this matter, and will keep you informed of his forthcoming reply. Thank you again for bringing these issues to my attention. Now remember, he's addressing me and he's answering me because I wrote to him and I told him under the obligation they have to the Queen, he needs to talk to his people to leave us people alone. And I certified the letter to make sure he received it, and I got the answer. And he also CC'd me and gave me a copy of the letter that he sent to Maui Police Department. I am writing to share with you a copy of the letter I received from Ms. Joyclynn Costa from Haiku, Maui, regarding recent interactions she and others had with the Maui Police Department. Your assistance in reviewing her concerns and providing me with a copy of your report would be greatly appreciated. So I felt real good about that. However, some people within our group felt it was going to be of no avail to even bother to write because he would never answer, and that's not the avenue that they were going in. But they didn't prevent me from doing what I felt I needed to do. And so I encourage everyone to have the courage to if you feel so compelled, sometimes, it's our kupuna talking to us. Sometimes it's Keakua talking to us. Sometimes it's other people talking to us. We need to discern that, observe, interpret, and apply. Oh. So what happened? We went to court, and the first judge was Judge Rhonda Liu. And everybody know, ooh, Rhonda Liu. For some reason, they decided they wanted to dismiss the case without prejudice. Yeah, but that didn't go well with me.
Here.
Hello? Oh. So because of my understanding and my ability to look at all the different words, I ended up going to court and telling the judge this needs to be dismissed with prejudice. And I'm showing you the court documents after what had happened, and we went to court, myself as well as my father. That didn't stop there, because all 16 were dismissed with prejudice. And I'm showing you this not because I encourage you to go to court or get arrested. It's just that when we stop to really observe, interpret, find the application, and discuss with other people, this was the result I had. So how did I get that to happen? If you look on the left-hand side, this was one of the requirements that the prosecutor wanted from us. And it says, there is currently no legal recognized authority that would empower this court to accept claims of individuals like defendant who assert their sovereignty as citizens of the Kingdom of Hawaii and who claim that they are beyond the existing laws and powers of the Hawaii state court system. If there existed a treaty or other document that is legally recognized by the United States and state of Hawaii, which would exclude individual as defendant from the jurisdiction of the Hawaii State Court, the defendant's position may possibly be accepted as having merit. However, it is not for this court. Very, very arrogant of this prosecutor to tell the judge what he can and cannot do. However, it is not for this court to make this determination. Only if the state of Hawaii and the United States recognizes such a separation of jurisdiction and powers would this court have authority to acknowledge defendant's claim. Okay, so yes, come on.
Yeah, Kalamai sister. So I love this piece because a lot of Kanakas, right? A lot of Kanakas are going into court and basically saying the same thing. They just don't have the prosecutorial or legal title or clout to say the same thing in the same way. Whenever we go into court and we tell the courts lack of jurisdiction, we're saying the same thing. What this prosecutor did is basically give the legal verbiage, lyrics, if you will, that the courts do not have the jurisdictional authority to determine whether or not you as a Kanaka Maoli can come forward and make these claims in the state of Hawaii. He's right. So this letter is powerful because it took an attorney from that court system to just declare what we've always known, but just didn't have the lyrics to say the same thing. And I've always said that if we're going to use the ha'i, the olelo that says that the courts lack jurisdiction, then we got to prove where that statutory provision comes from. It comes from our laws. There is a Kanawai Kohoai by Aina that says the same thing. And so I'm always frustrated by Kanakas who go into court just so they can tell the court lacks jurisdiction. I'm going, if the court lacks jurisdiction, why are you stepping into court?
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
You
Right.
just need to do what you did. Write the letter, put your Kanawai that talks about the judicial authority, the statutory authority that applies. And then you don't have to waste all the time and energy of that court.
So
Anyway.
Kamauno, so Kamauno and Auntie. So do you guys have this copy that we can also have as Ohana, because we in litigation. So this I find is very useful in this case.
Sure.
So is there anything we can
I'm
we can
only
get-
I'm only here to share. And I want to add also, you know, I have this discussion a lot, and I talk to my dad. He's like my sounding board. And I said, Dad, don't you think the judge already has an authority? He goes, what? I said, yeah, he has an authority. Don't you think the prosecutor has an authority? They do. Does a policeman have an authority? Yes. The difference is, what does it have to do with me? And that was my question. Yeah. Without even getting into the jurisdictional part, what does, you called me here. I come to you under special appearance because I don't recognize that authority upon me, but I feel threatened that something would happen to me physically. So I'm appearing, but you first have to establish some kind of standing. And so that's what I wanted to do. What does it have to do with me? So when we go to the right-hand side on March 1st, now she had filed this before I even received this letter. So now I'm sitting there and I open my envelope and I start reading this letter, and it says, I wish to acknowledge receipt of your communication, including copies of your correspondence to Governor Linda Lingle, Mr. Thomas Keller, Administrative Director of Courts in Hawaii. Thank you for keeping me apprised of your court proceedings and inviting me to attend. Out of differences to the constitutionally mandated separation of powers, I must regretfully decline your invitation. She asked me on the left-hand side to show a separation of powers and jurisdiction from both the state of Hawaii and the United States. Mr. Inouye is a representative of the state of Hawaii in Congress, United States. So there was two in one letter to deliver the request from the prosecutor. Now, there was another twist to this. People tell me, well, what he's talking about is the separation of powers, the judicial, the legislative, and the, what is the third one? The executive. However, if you remember correctly, then the judge should have pointed that out, but he didn't. What he did was, hold on, dismissed the case with prejudice when I gave him that letter. And if we go back to this one, you'll see this was the date of my trial at court. It was already dismissed without prejudice. So we weren't supposed to even walk into court. So I want to just express to you folks, for me, it's a walk with Keakua, because my name was put on the docket even if the case was done. So it wasn't supposed to be. And the question in the courtroom was, how come her name is on the docket? This case is done. And they said, oh, we made a mistake. But because it was on the docket, they had to hear me. Heaven sent. There were 4 of us that day. I made a copy of that letter from Inouye to each one that came to court that day, my father and 2 of my other, 2 other ladies that were arrested. So 4 of us was holding the same letter addressed to me, and they handed it to the judge. He accepted our, if you read in the center, our oral motion for reconsideration of the dismissal without prejudice, and he granted us a dismissal with prejudice that day. So whether we can interpret or say that the reason why he did what Inouye was saying was it's that separation. Remember, he also intervened and wrote to the police department. He could have easily have told me that it's a separation of powers in the understanding that most of us have. But now, what's in a word? We need to look at and observe We need to do an interpretation. We need to see how it was applied. And the judge accepted this letter to satisfy the request from the prosecutor, and therefore the case was dismissed with prejudice. So when I went back to the courtroom, to the courts, I just wanted to make sure that everything was there on the record. And I was really happy to see, that the case was there. But when I extracted it, guess what wasn't in the record? The letter from Inouye. So I made my own paper, and I acknowledged and confirmed the dismissal with prejudice for the merits of this case. Yeah. And so in Rule 12, it says, Rule 12, the second paragraph on the right-hand side, dismissal with prejudice is an adjudication on the merits of all the issues raised or could have been raised in the pleadings. Thus, subsequent litigation involving the same claims would be barred by res judicata. Okay, so I'm reiterating the law to them that it was dismissed with prejudice, and my understanding of that is that it was only the issues raised. And the issue raised was the lack of jurisdiction and rejection to contract. I didn't want to be there or talk to them or engage in anything because I really didn't feel I belonged there. So now we go back to what's in a word. Because remember, we read that section, every royal patent hereinafter. But I'd like someone to read the top part of this chapter. It was to regulate the issuing of the royal patent. So can someone start with the whereas, large numbers? Please.
Auntie, you muted, Auntie.
Oh, me?
Auntie Puanani.
Okay. You ready, Auntie? Just do that top paragraph. You can end at the therefore. Somebody help her?
Whereas large numbers of Aborigine, is that what it says?
Ahupua'a.
Apua. Sorry, Kanawai.
Changing the law.
And Ilis of
It just got more blurry.
land is
in this kingdom
were awarded by the commissioners to quiet land titles by name only, and has by survey
and not by survey.
Okay, or defined boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas the
government.
Oh, and whereas the government's commutations in many
instances
is not paid,
mm-hmm.
nor the boundaries of each land certified to. And whereas in many cases, the original holders of each awards have documented or
the title
or the titles to the will. Sorry, the thing is kind of blurry for us, but I try my best, Auntie.
Yeah, I finished. Whereas in many cases, the original holder of such awards have deceased, or the title to their lands or to portions of said lands has passed into other hands. Therefore, so now when we read that in completion with section 1, therefore, Every royal patent hereafter issued upon an award of the Board of Commissioners to quiet land titles shall be in the name of the person to whom the original award was made, even though such person be deceased, or the title to the real estate thereby granted have been alienated, and all royal patents so issued shall inure to the benefit of the heirs and assigns of the holder of such original award. So it really stays with that kupuna. Yeah, they already saw, because the lands were two-part. You get your land commission award, which is your title, then you get your royal patent once you can establish your boundaries, because you got to go to the Board of Commissioners for boundaries, pay them to get your boundaries set, and then you do your commutation. At one point in the kingdom, you did commutation, and until they figured that it was like double dipping, so you didn't have to anymore, but you still had to establish a boundary, and then uapau. Yeah, and so they knew that some couldn't get to do that last portion, did not acquire the real patent. But did that mean that they didn't hold a title? Definitely not. And they knew that that would be a problem, so they reserved it to make sure that the kupuna was still the holder of the Land Commission Award. I see two people with their hands raised. Go ahead.
Jocelyn's Connie. Maybe he's got to make the picture a little bit bigger because on our side it's a little small.
How do I
So
do that?
If you got, yeah, it's just so that you can see a little better.
Oh,
Just when you get those documents on. Thanks.
oh, sorry. Like that would have been better. Okay, so.
Maybe a better picture. It's okay.
I'm sorry. Okay. So in summary and conclusion, you can give a
Wait,
man.
just Debbie Kaivi had her hand
Yes,
up.
yes. Sorry. Hi, Debbie. Go ahead. I'm not
Debbie.
hearing.
Okay, maybe she had to step away. I just wanted to share. This is one of the real critical Kanawai that have really helped us, and Joyclynn was the one who found it kind of in a different way. She read the Hawaii Revised Statutes 172-11 and 12, and because of her nana on those two pauku, it led us to the law of 1872. Boom. The only difference between the HRS 172 and 11 and 12 is this particular statute pertains to the royal patent.
Mhm.
HRS calls it land patents. And as we've learned in previous classes, and because of Johanna, you got to look back at vested rights. You got to go back to the original laws. So the original laws, I mean, these guys, they already saw it coming. So brilliant what they did. Keep the kupuna's name on it. Because the heirs, the descendants, they do their genealogy, they go all the way back to that kupuna. It inures to the benefit of the heirs. That's the law. And as we've learned from Johanna, rights once vested cannot be constitutionally disturbed.
So Kamaunu, so like how Johanna said that they use land patent from the HRS. So when they do that, that's how they remove the names with from the Land Commission Awards. Is that a way that they do that?
They can call it whatever it is, whatever they want. No matter what they call it, it's still a royal patent. That's why it's preserved in the archives, and it's still called a Pala Pala Sila Nui.
So she got about, she got about another half an hour or so. So maybe we can hold the questions to maybe towards the end so she can get to the rest of her PowerPoint, and then we can kind of Kuka Kuka then. Thank you. Great job.
So, okay, so part of, na, yeah, we have to look at what's in a word. The authority with them lies with the land patent. So they can do what they want with this land patent. However, when you're holding a royal patent, therein is the difference of authority and what they can and cannot do. So I cannot tell you for certain this is exactly, but for me, in my mind, as I'm looking at it, you think they could do taxes on a royal patent and place a TMK on a royal patent? Is that within their preview and their authority? Remember now, if we go all the way back from the Organic Act to the Statehood Act, which is now the Hawaii Revised Statute, certain land laws are still in effect. They cannot do certain things, and our Hawaiian laws are still enforced. Yeah, so this is the things that you may want to discover on your own, because what I say is, oh, hold on. Oop. It went fast forward. Am I going backwards or am I going forward? I'm going backwards. Hold on. So this is why I say, in summary, you can give a man a fish, so I can sit here and I can give you all of my paperwork. All of my paperwork. I can feed you all my paperwork. Will it get you to your destination? Will I give you the understanding and the gains? Or do I teach you how to fish? And when I do that, like in the center picture with my dad showing them how to make a net, you can then know how to throw a net, which is on your right-hand side, that's my mo'opuna, and you can start to feed others. So, mahalo.
Apologize. Is there any, so now we can open for questions, and she can kind of go more in depth in certain things. So anybody with questions? Okay.
We wanted to say mahalo to Auntie Jocelyn for all the information. Yeah, mahalo nui for all of that. And like you said, if you can teach us to fish, that would be awesome.
So if you can have more classes.
Yeah. So which means they're saying it can have more classes.
But I still like get the fish, so if you get the information, I still like it.
Yeah, Uncle.
I can share my fish. I certainly can. Auntie Puanani, I saw you starting to talk, but I can't, and your thing doesn't say muted, but I cannot hear you. See, I don't know.
I think her mic is off.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kalamai Auntie, we can see you reading and trying to Olelo, but Aole, we cannot hear you.
Maybe can chat.
Yeah, Auntie, good. Oh, she went already.
There she is.
Auntie, try write them in the chat.
I love this Auntie.
Yeah, me too.
Fearless.
Anybody can read that.
I really wish I could, because Auntie's mana'o is just treasure.
Auntie, can type something in the chat. Oh, there you go. I have a question in the chat. What about LCA? Yeah, LCAs are the Land Commission Award. That's a definition I gave. And in the laws of 1872, as well as in HRS 172-11, it is recognized as the title. it is recognized that that name, that title, that name on that document stays with the kupuna for the benefit of his heirs and assigns. It doesn't say for the transfer of title to the family, but it is for the family. Make no mistake, it is for the family to benefit from, to go there and go fish, to go over there and go make your lo'i, for go over there and plant yourself to go live and raise your family, but it is there for your benefit. And it stays with the kupuna, so that way nobody else can cross over that. I also think any land issue should be sent to the DOI, Department of Interior. Okay. So if there's going to be more discoveries, you're going to see, and within the Organic Act, they define who our kingdom Department of Interior was. And the Department of Interior turned into DLNR. And you're right, we may need to, because that's why I did talk to Congress, because we're a nation to nation. And so Congress is, you know, if you look at within the separation of powers, there's a section called the Doctrine of Political Question. And that's a whole nother discussion. Everybody write that down, Doctrine of Political Question. I encourage you to read that because it tells us how and what limitations they have when it comes to land, whether they have that right or authority over lands created from another country. The land patents created from the state of Hawaii. But was the royal patent created from the state of Hawaii? Ole. It was created from a whole nother country than the state of Hawaii, Republic of Hawaii, United States. It was created from Hawaii by Aina. So and that's our nation state. So the Land Commission, where the LCAs mentioned in the Organic Act, what was mentioned in the Organic Act is that certain land laws cannot be touched. That's what I was showing in the beginning. And that certain laws has to be referred back to Hawaiian laws, not the laws of Hawaii, which was for the Republic and their citizenry. So plenty mana'o, but plenty discoveries that we had to go through. You know, this took me a few years to come to this conclusion. And I can hand everything to everybody, but without actually walking through all of that and then discerning it to be in the brain, to be able to digest it and now feel confident to regurgitate it because of the understanding. We can have more think tanks and sit down and talk stories. Hui Pono would sit in a room, like Connie said, from 8 in the morning till 8 to 10 o'clock at night, take one case and debate. I mean, we didn't agree. No, that's not what it said. Well, how do you know that wasn't what it said? Oh, because it said this. And how do you know that's not what it said? You know, do you have a citation? Show me the law. Show me a case that backs that up. And that's what we did for 2 years straight. God somehow gave us the ability to gather 2 to 3 days a week and do that. We'd bring our breakfast, lunch, and dinner because we knew we was going to be in that room for that long. And we just hammered each other. I was just blessed that we were able to be in that safe space and not feel intimidated that, oh, I don't know if I'm going to sound lolo or if I'm going to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about or if I'm wrong. It didn't matter. What mattered is we spoke our truth and then from there discern it and then from there become confident and we could now share it. You know, we wasn't going to be foolish or irresponsible to share something that we didn't feel we really knew. And for me, I wouldn't have shared it if I didn't walk it. And that's why I brought forward my case to show you that I felt confident enough that I walked it. You know, and some people go, oh, well, then how come you did this? And I picked my battles. There's other things that I also have to do. Can I go do other things? Oh, definitely. If I showed you the page before that one that the prosecutor had written to us, she said we could be in a car, get into an accident, and kill somebody, and the state of Hawaii couldn't do a thing to us.
Exactly.
How crazy is that? But, and that's not what we would do, you know, because we still are held under a Kanawai. Yeah, we cannot be irresponsible people. But it was to that.
Jocelyn, Stacy has a question for you.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a comment, and so I appreciate everything that you guys do, because I kind of hit a roadblock too. But I think when, you know, because that's our family, we get so, it's good to have a group, because when we're in it, you know, it's our family legacy. So we get so emotional and passionate about it that sometimes we get blinded by certain things. So having a group like how you have is very helpful, you know, to kind of keep us in check and, okay, calm down, breathe, you know, start again, you know, because it's like, what, when you start seeing things being done to you or your family, you know, you get very defensive and angry and emotional. And so, yeah, I get what you, I can see now having the group, because I'm by myself doing it. And so it is hard. But if I can get other like-minded family, or, you know, maybe older kupuna to sit and listen and give other advice, also would help.
Yeah, you know, it's important that we this is Camilo, you know, it is important that to go forward. I think a lot of times when we're dealing with our family, because we're in the same boat too. You know, I disagree with my older siblings, being the youngest in the family. And it's because I see things differently, and it is frightening to deal with this stuff. But the whole thing is we got to continue, and then surely, slowly enough, they'll come along, because they'll start to see, you know, the changes. And, you know, of course, always having, like Johanna just mentioned, about praying often, you know, because it does help. But it does help to keep, especially the family, you got to kind of keep more of a cool head and try to work through things. And sometimes you have to compromise some of the things you're doing, knowing that in the end, you'll come back to it anyway. Because, you know, truth is truth, and it don't change. And, you know, so Jocelyn's, you know, point of, you know, being able to see the differences, being able to see what is, I would say, frivolous compared to what is actually real. Because when you delve into this area, you're going to find a lot of discrepancies in what the federal, state, and county surmise what they interpret the law should be. And but our due diligence is to know what the law is, and know what our rights are, and how we can attach to those rights. And that's what Pono does. And that's what we try to do, is show people it's there. If you look at those documents, and like for me, Jocelyn mentioned it earlier, I hate to read. I don't read. I'm a person that gleans. I just glean for information. So I look for stuff that's pertinent to me, and I use it, and then see how far I can go with it. But yeah, it is important.
Yeah, it's hard too, because, you know, you get roadblock after roadblock. You know, I found some things, and, you know, and I called Native Hawaiian Legal Corp to, if they could help, and they tell me, no, it's too big of a case, we're not going to take it on, because it's lanai, right? And the landowner, they don't want to go up, and I guess they don't like go up against them, but they said, oh, go look up this book and it'll help you look up. And I was like, wow. Wow.
I will tell you,
can I
will tell you one little trick. And this is from my good friend Johanna over here. Now I was telling you what's in a word, right? And to read thoroughly. What she taught me is, when you read something, put it in reverse. What are they not saying? Like in 172-11, it says every land patent. Yeah. So what are they not saying? Every royal patent. So what they're telling you is that their blue book has the authority on a land patent, not a royal patent. Yeah. So sometimes it's not so much what you're reading, is what is omitted from the document. So therefore you walk in with you. Yeah. You walk in with your royal patent. You walk in with your kupuna. You walk in with what is omitted. And now you say, oh, did the law say that you could do that to this? Because I don't see it. Can you show me the law that shows that this is part of your authority? I'm trying to create standing here because you're saying you want to do this. So does it say that in the law? Where does it say it in the law? Can you find it for me? Because I can't find it. And as far as HRS goes, you're not going to see it. Johanna had her hand.
You know, every country has a land base, right? And that's where they get their jurisdiction from. In Hawaii, as in all other states, well, I shouldn't say in Hawaii, all states in the United States have their land under U.S. patent, except Hawaii and Texas. So if you think about that, none of the land in Hawaii is under U.S. patent. So what does U.S. have jurisdiction over? No, I mean, it's as simple as that. So their laws almost don't apply to us. But you know, there's these little nuances that you don't really consider when you look at the law. And going back to your jurisdictional question on, what is that? Political question. The thing about Joyclynn's case is that the prosecutor set the parameters for what she would entertain as being correct. And she brought in the boundaries of, I guess, jurisdiction. And because she brought that in, it opened the way for Inouye's letter to address that particular issue. So when the judge finally made the decision, the prosecutor says, wait, we want to continue it. But the judge says, I cannot give you a continuance. You asked the question, she answered it, provided the evidence, I can make my decision now. So even though it was trespass, and even though there is claim for the doctrine of political question, the parameters of the law sometimes are real clear. And if you address the parameters of the law, you address the question. So yeah, they made a big mistake that day when they brought in the separation of powers. And Joyclynn was really blessed to have a letter that Inouye had written not months before. I think it might have been a year before, right? That's how long that letter was waiting for that.
It was only within a week. It was a blessing that I received like days before I had to go to court and present it. So I wanted to leave you folks with a good friend of mine to remind us of our mindset and where we need to kind of place ourselves in conduct so that we can let that divine come through and help us. So I want to introduce you to Noel. Okay, yeah, you can see this.
All right. Too much to think about. Really good discussion.
Oh, Noel, you mean you was here the whole time?
I was, yeah.
And you was hiding behind the computer?
Yeah, I was cleaning up the church. Sorry. All my
okay.
stuff is all over, all my shirts and all my. This is like my, you know what I mean. So anyway, very exciting discussion. Thank you very much for all of the mana'o. But for me, I want to leave you guys with this one thought. Well, hopefully I got enough time. But it's nana ikea kua. Look to God. Okay. Our whole constitution, our Kanawai, our whole nation state is under God by our kupuna and by our ali'i. So for me, everything is ha'ala'a ma'apa. Okay, ha'ala'a ma'apa. That's the way of conduct for all Hawaiians. Ha'a is humbleness, humility, respect, understanding. It's about truth, the respect we have for one another. Enhance, protect the air is from that first ha that God gave to us, that ha mau loa aku, that breath forever. We need to take care of that, the air we live with. That's his first breath. La'a is sacred. Sacred is our Aina, the land. Aina meaning food source, ocean and lepo, okay? It's sacred because it has our iwi kupuna. It has our royal patents. It has our land commission awards. That's our promised lands from the Bible. It was awarded to us through God, okay? And the ali'i. So that's our promised land. Kuleana, everything is about kuleana. You have the kuleana to ha'a. We have to move in humbleness, in truth. We have to work in kuleana with la'a, the protection of our iwi, the protection of our rights, the protection of the kanawai. Ma'a is to know. This is the vai, ovai koinoa, vai, kahavai, kanawai. All of the vibes, we are vai, okay? We are vai, 90% of our body is vai. Everything is about vai. So far as air, land, and water. These are the three jurisdictions that we live under. Everything else is venue. There's only three jurisdictions in life, and God is the protector and the giver of those three jurisdictions. One does not succeed without the other. This is the only thread that drives everyone into this commonality. We need to protect our God-given elements. Okay, so it's about kuleana. So ma'ama, the water has to find its goal. We are that water. We are that protocol to the land. We are the protocol to the air, and we are protocol to the vai. Land, air, and water. So pa'a, the last one. Once you are in balance and you can accomplish these three values, your life is set. You can pa'a yourself and plant yourself in our God-given island. Everything's about kuleana, okay? People wonder when I say there's no nouns in Hawaii. It's all verbs. I'm a verb. My name, No'eau, has action to it. It's a mindset. It's being wise. It's about knowledge. It's about all of that. Your name is a verb. It's your protocol to the Aina. The Aina is a verb. All the place names are verbs. They have an action that they greet you with. They have action that gives story to. All the stories and songs we sing about is about the land, the people from that land, the people who died there. But it's all about generating those three actions, and everything starts now. Everything is in the past, and it's all good to know the past, but all our actions from now on and how we accept the Kanawai into our life and all of that and God's work, we can pa'a. So who know what the Hawaiian word for title is? Okay. Everybody hear me? Oh, she said something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nani, you're gonna chat with us. You get the title.
Title. What is the Hawaiian word for title? Okay.
Give
She
up.
put it. Okay. Anyway, title is kuleana. It's an action. You cannot have title unless you perform the action. Okay. It's the usage. That's the Hawaiian law. Hawaiian is all about the usage and the protection and the enhancement of God, which is nature. And the more close you are with nature, the closer are with God. And I don't believe I'm saying this kind of stuff, but my mom said I was going to be a preacher in the 90s, and I really thought that was like, no, that's the last thing I'll be doing. But I have come to see, because I was one of the people arrested in that court case. I was seen as dismissed with prejudice, without prejudice, prior to her getting dismissed with prejudice, and my thing was changed to the same thing. But I really believe that is ho'i ho'i ka Aina. We all can go back because that's our promised land. If you don't use your rights to this land, you give that up and you let whoever there to do it. And the only thing you can do is pray that they do a good job. Okay. Or go home and go do that job, or kuleana. Anyway, I hope I left thought, and I didn't want to leave more confusion than anything else. But anyway, thank you so much.
Auntie Puanani, this is my good brother, friend, Ohana, Noeau Kaholokula, to answer your question. So again, what he's reiterating to you is ha'a. You know, we don't have to be so ho'oyo, or and sometimes we have to be a little bit, ikaika, but ha'a, la'a, ma'a, so we can reach to pa'a. Okay, so
Mahalo nui.
yes. Yes.
And we all in the same va'a.
Yes, va'a. That's the last one.
Noeau, that is no kamea, the first pauku. Yeah, everybody remember ho'opaku, pauku ho'okahi, right? Yeah, from 1839. O hana mai ke akua e nā lahui ka naka apau. So bring us back to akua.
Exactly.
Yeah. Bring us back to akua, because he is the hokupa'a in this whole huakai that we're on to hanau hou no kalahui e kohoai pa Aina. Because ina aole kalima ke akua, ua pau no kalahui. Yeah. That is why that first pauku is the cornerstone to really moving forward and growing as a nation. As was stated by Kanilor earlier, we're really not advocating anything other than really go get educated, get empowered, because the laws are written for you. And you're going to find that in the law, Keakua, he's all over. His ike, his ano is all over the laws. And it's for us because, like Noel pointed out, the word to title is kuleana. Kuleana is your right. You have the right to live, the right to die, the right to prosper, the right to exist, the right to be a breathing, living, gifted, intelligent human being, because we're all divine. Let's live it.
Thank you for that. You were the one that gave me that under God thing. Our Kanawai, thank you.
All right.
Well,
so mahalo everybody for joining us. And, again, hopefully this helps. If you guys need our assistance, we'll be more than happy to help you guys. With your journey, or with your informational gathering. We're more than happy to help. Again, we're not lawyers, and some of us 12th grade education. So we but what we do know is what we actually studied, and we did study, and we did have a lot of arguments. I mean, we had arguments, but luckily, the thing about our arguments, they're really, they were debates mostly. There was nothing personal. We just put that aside. Our real concern was, does the kingdom Kanawai still relative today and applies? That was the goal, and that's what we accomplished. And so now we come forward to share the mana'o, the ike that we learned through those 2 years. And So we're sharing that with you, and again, however you want to use it, it's up to you, because it's really about you and your relationship to who you are. And we kind of took it in a way where people could go from one point to the next. So our first lesson was on identity, because if you don't identify correctly, you cannot apply any of this. Okay, so if you missed the identity class, and Kalamai forgot to record that class, but we can go over the things with you also. And then our last
Connie.
class, yeah.
The name of the group again, the one that the mother group for this.
What is the name of your group?
The name of the group is Pono Ike Kanawai.
Pono.
Ike.
Yeah. Pono Ike Kanawai.
Mahalo.
Can I say something to the manao you shared earlier?
Go.
Okay, so for all the Kanakas in this classroom, right, for everybody, Kane asked a question. We got into these debates to discover if the Kanawai still applies. I want to make this point because we were on August 9, 2009, not on August 9, but anyway, we were involved with this issue regarding Kuleana, regarding title, regarding rights. Connie was the voice that really went change this proposal for Kuleana land tax. Prior to the vote being taken, there was a discussion we had outside of the room. And somebody made the statement, I'm not gonna mention names. Somebody made the statement that they felt the Kuleana laws or the Kanawai was dead. And I said, you cannot tell me that. As long as there are Kanakas living, the Kanawai lives through us. We live, the Kanawai live. And I told them, I know people in this circle who live by the Kanawai. So you cannot tell me it's dead. And then brother apologized, he's sorry. He said, sorry, I misspoke. I said, no need to apologize, but I'm gonna tell you this. Don't ever tell me the law is dead again. As long as we live as a people, the law lives through us.
I see our my cousin Frank Oliveira had his hand up. You had something you want to push share, cousin? You're muted. Oh, maybe can put in the chat if cannot unmute. But if not, then
yeah, no more nothing.
Okay. Okay. Love to see you here.
Yeah, follow.
Yes. All the way from Hanna. Okay. So Connie, can you close us out in a pule? And then I guess I don't know, because we recording this. So Connie, how can we share this to them? I guess
I'm gonna have to share them. I'm gonna have to go download them and share them.
Okay.
So just to let everybody know, we're having our next class next week, Saturday, same time, on Zoom. Johanna will be doing that class. Her class is being done on vested rights. So as I was saying, we kind of took it we kind of created the classes to be able for you to, in a way where it's understand how everything works. And so it was identity, then came the Kumu Kanawai 1839. And then it went to Jocelyn's class today. And then Johanna's class goes into the vested rights. After that, we're gonna have about 2 weeks, a 2-week break. And then we'll have our next 2 classes And we'll put that out for people to be able to attend. So yeah, if you're interested, I'll just give me your emails and I'll email you everything. Kalamai about today. This week was kind of a busy week for me, but so if you guys want more information, I'll be more than happy to share that with you. But yeah, like we said, we're just happy to share everything with you. You guys have any more questions? You guys do have our contacts. We'll be more than happy to talk more with you. But, that being said, mahalo everybody. Thank you for joining us. We guys enjoyed the class. If you did and think this is important, please share with your family and friends to join us in the next one. Otherwise, maybe if I can have Lala, somebody can pull it for us.
Okay, Pulikako.
Our most kind, gracious Father in heaven, we come before thee at this time. We are indeed grateful, Father, for this opportunity that we have to be able to meet as Lahui, as Ohana, as people of this land, Kuleana Ohanas. We are so grateful that thou has created this space for us to preserve and to protect, and especially to have those that are here, Auntie Joyclynn, Johanna, Kaniloa, Kamaunu, all those that Noyao, all those that have researched and done the sacrifice in bringing these things together so that we are able to be educated to protect this Aina. We are indeed grateful, Heavenly Father, for all that thou has done for us and for the messages that have been taught this day so that we are able to take it within in our hearts and our minds and be able to take action. We are so grateful to thee in all of these opportunities. We pray that you be with us, that we may be protected at all times, and that we may continue to go on with this movement, and that we may have one another to rely upon and to be able to help us in this movement so that we are able to do what is right. We love thee and we're grateful, and we leave these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Mahalo, everybody.
Mahalo.
Thank you.
Mahalo.
Thank you, Connie.
Thank you for coming. Love you, Auntie.
Mahalo.
Love you,
Love you,
Ohana.
Auntie.
I can hear you. All
We-
right. Mwah.
Justin, Roman, and Jana, can you guys stay on
Okay.
for a briefing? Okay. Everybody else, are we okay?
Ahuyo.
I like Lisa.
Only boring stuff. We just gotta strategize. Hello, Frank. Hello, Kapali. Sorry, Kamano. Hey, Kamano, leave. Why did you leave? That's good. Where'd you get Kamano back?
Yeah.
Why don't you just go out and then call us back?
Oh. Okay. Let's check Colin come back.
Thank you for calling. Please leave your number.
Well, we had big breakfast. I mean, come down. She went go make the breakfast.
Okay. So we'll see if he come back on. Text him, not answering his phone. But anyway, we just wanted to. Why you can go? So. Hey, can you come back on? Oh, okay, okay. You heading to work or something?
Yeah, but I gotta
We can hear.
class. Good class. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, so
I could try on my Zoom over. Nah, shoot. I don't
you can just stay on the phone. Come on.
Okay, awesome.
Just stay on the phone. So yeah, good class, Josh. Love your PowerPoint. Even though the guy was trying to interfere.
That's why I had to give that beginning. I not one tech, and then boom, I went off completely.
Well, I was going like, oh, huh?
Where she went? And then it's like, I can't even hear because.
Was awesome.
Well, yeah, was good.
Was awesome. Was good. Was gonna be class. I saw, I mean, and Johanna got good class coming up too.
Oh yeah.
So
I think I left more open than I did give. All I wanted to do is put that mindset of, oh, we gotta go do our own research. And I hope that's pretty much what I left them with. That there's more to this. There is hard work, but the rewards are great.
Okay. So yeah, it was a really good class. Really well conceived. And I'm glad you did a PowerPoint. That really helps. That was really good. So we're looking at the next dates that we coming back on. So we're gonna have Johannes next week. Then we're gonna take I think a week off and do the 23rd and the 30th. Am I correct? Joy, and yeah, we weren't able to get you last week. But we kind of met to follow up on our next classes. And so I do have some of the stuff we talked about in our discussion. So so I think the next two classes after the 9th is the 23rd and 30th. Is there any conflict with those two Saturdays? Anybody?
No.
Josh, you good for those Saturdays?
I gotta go check my calendar because I know I had a whole bunch of different meetings. I will check in and get back to you guys. I don't have it with me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, or if we gotta go to the first Saturday or whatever. It's fine too.
I go look.
Yeah. And I think so maybe Kamano Jana can kind of bring back what we were kind of discussing, where we were going with our thoughts.
We're looking to doing the compiler's preface in part.
Oh, right. So we were gonna take that apart in section, and each of us would do a section of the compiler's preface. Because it comes back to what you were talking about, Jocelyn. You really gotta really see what documents are saying and understand what's being conveyed. And I think so that was our next goal, was to break down a compiler's preface. So is there another day we can meet, a Tuesday or something, to kind of flesh that out? Maybe not this coming Tuesday because Jana's gonna be on the mainland. Maybe when Jana comes back. So maybe we should push our class maybe the 30th and maybe the 30th and the 7th.
Oh, I'm gonna go get my calendar.
Okay, let's look at those 2 dates. I think better we kind of get to talk about how we want to work out that next line of classes. I know Jana's gonna do it, part of it this next Saturday.
Maybe we should learn the Olelo Hawaii too.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Well, that's what I was just thinking about. Well, I know. Let's start studying all that stuff in Lelo. Because like you said, our language is makes a big difference. Last week's class.
Well, we already decided we were going to separate it into 4 parts. So
yeah,
the 4 parts. I'm trying to figure out what it is that you're thinking about doing.
Well, I think we should, so it's more make sure that the class is cohesive. So we can we just bounce off of ideas like how we did in our last meeting, but to make sure we're all heading in the right direction.
I did have a conversation with Johanna earlier, and I had already openly and notoriously declared I am missing our face-to-face debates.
Yeah, so I'm good for that.
Yeah, we need to get back to our 10-hour sessions.
Oh, I'm retired.
I can do it. We can do whatever we like.
We can do whatever we like.
That's exactly what I told Noel yesterday. I said, you know what? I just found out what I'm feeling now. He goes, what? I said, I can do whatever I want. And I'm not distracted by outside or being held down by an obligations of it's free.
Well, don't forget now, nobody does anything till I get back.
What?
So
Okay.
can we have are you willing to do it?
Connie, I thought the class was still in session. Is this just sweep or no?
Yeah, just sweep Pono.
Josh.
Yeah,
Huh?
just
Yes.
Connie, can you put it closer to the mic?
Time I have seen the full disclosure of your case.
can you
that's
guys hear him?
This was the first time I've seen the full disclosure of your case.
Oh.
Yeah, that's good.
It was powerful because you linked it to the Organic Act,
Yeah.
you linked it to the Hawaii Revised Statute, and you linked it all the way back to the law of 1872. And that was brilliant and beautiful. Therein lies the model. If the Kanakas really and honestly, and it's brilliant that you're making them go look for it themselves. They got to go find it. But if they put all of the statutory provisions in there, the HRS already supports it. The prosecutor's declaration already supports it.
Yeah. And you know, the part I left out was that we need to understand under the Kanawai, we have our limitations. Under their statutes and their constitution, they have their limitations. So we went all until their limitation and they couldn't cross that.
Yeah, it was beautiful, beautiful. All the constitutional limitations were presented in this class. Wow, I just, I wanted to just shout hallelujah and just fill out all the constitutions already.
Well, you know, it took all of me to dwindle it down to just that because, you know, I could have gone, I was telling Johanna, I could go all over the creation and there are all these documents and all of this, and I have to shrink it. If not, no more time.
As the same thing Johanna was thinking, and she was doing too, and you know, so now we got her stuff on PowerPoint. I said now you can, you know, the thing about the PowerPoint just keeps you on task, keeps you from doing that. And then, you know, the thing is once you share it, you cannot go veering off to space, you know what I mean? And you know, and you can always change the slides.
Was it relevant, the two different comparison, one that looked the same and one that don't look the same, but it's the same and it's not the same? Was that
it's awesome.
Okay.
It was awesome. Well, to me, it was awesome.
I thought might have been confusing.
The thing about the presentation today is that everybody's familiar with the why. Nobody, not everyone knows the how. So you connected the how and you showed where it took place. So it's not hearsay anymore. It's fact. For them, it's fact. I thought that was good. I felt like that today when I was looking at it all over again. I said, that's right. That's where that's from. That's right. That's how we did that. Yes, you bet.
Wait, come on, what you saying?
I understand why Connie wants to do the compiler's preface discussion, so we can flesh out our thoughts on the values of all those parts.
Come on,
come on, you had something.
Because we had to look at the law just as the law. Didn't matter if it was federal, state, or one kingdom. Law is law is law. Kanawai is Kanawai. We needed to look at which laws, like you said, which laws are relevant to us. That's where the jurisdictional lines get drawn. It's whose law you're going to live by, because command can serve two masters, yeah? So we need to survive, thrive, live by the Kanawai that was written for Kanakamo'oli. There is no law in the state of Hawaii to protect the rights of Kanakamo'oli, to protect the royal captive of the Kanakamo'oli. The state of Hawaii does not have that kind of law. Therefore,
by virtue of our divine right granted to us by Kehakua, Wahana Mai Kehakua na Lahui Kanakapau, we need to live the Oya no, that is the Kanawai, Popohoi by Aina. Beautiful.
Are you right? We need to, it's no longer trying to find our way there. We need to announce we're here and move.
Yeah, we're there.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep saying, Pono has things, people that nobody else is discussing. Nobody else is discussing this stuff. You cannot find this anyplace else. We went away from, oh, this is the problem. Okay, we're done with that. What is the solution? That's where we are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's where we was 10 years ago when we started everything. Or, you know, what, well, yeah, 10, 15 years ago, whatever. We started. That's why I always say we was ahead of the curve then. And it took people all this time to catch up with us. But the thing is, we all had our own personal journeys. So the time away from each other gave us time to become more power in our own ways. Yeah, and be assured of what we're doing. Because the thing good about us is we don't back down because we know that this is the path. But if you don't want to, that's fine with us. We're not trying to prove anything to anybody. We're just, it works for me. I don't know how it works for you. That's why I listened to all this water stuff coming up. And I was going to input what Johanna's, the point that Johanna brought about the permit. And exactly what you were saying. Where does it say I have to apply with this permit? Why am I requesting water from you? When you say in that permit, nothing changes. Because like what you said, what is Hawaiian law is Hawaiian law and going to stay Hawaiian law. And that means going to be Hawaiian rights, going to be Kanaka rights. So, you know what I mean? So yeah, this was a perfect time for us to come back together. About look how much, guys, the class is growing. Eventually gonna get bigger. We get somebody all the way from LA. We get one person from Lanai. I'm sure she's gonna share with her friends and stuff. And Hana came in today. So, we're branching out. We're getting bigger. I mean,
Don't forget Auntie Nani in Kauai.
Yeah. And she's a force to be reckoned with too. So, but I think what we're doing is answering a lot of people's questions. And I think giving them answers, and they're not as downhearted, thinking that this is all lost. It's only lost if we let it go. Yeah.
Yeah, impressive. The impressive attendees today was the Johnson Ohana or the Pehuino Ohana, because they were gathered together, listening.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
That was impressive to me because they're learning together. They're coming to the same, and they're having a conversation right now about what they just went through class. And that's what we want. That's what we've always wanted. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
that
you
was
guys can
great.
thank me later. You can thank me later for getting you guys back together again.
Oh.
Nah, just kidding.
Thank you right now. Thank you right now. Let's get it over with. Everybody say thank you, Connie. Thank you,
Connie, for being so good.
Okay, stop.
Wait, let me cut my back.
Okay, wait. You're not boasting in your own strength, right?
No, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, come on.
Yeah, Johanna, to your point, I love hearing the descendants of Pehuino reading, laughing, and learning together.
Yeah.
That's the next if Hui Pono, if anything. They're going to decide on their own what they want to do. That's why.
And you see, and that's what I learned with Noeau. He said, we know that this is all fake anyway. We got to have fun with it. If we start taking it too seriously and we start getting too emotional, and if we start getting too scared, then then it's hard to accomplish what we need to. But when we walk in with confidence, if we walk in with a lightness, yeah, we become light. Yeah, not so heavy. It becomes a lot easier. And I'm not saying that it is easy. I was grateful that I was blessed with my brother Noeau and other like-minded people when we walked through that case. It made it easier, and then how much more reward when it comes to pass, the truth, comes to light. So I'm just fortunate that God would bless me with that experience that I can share and give the hope and light to others. It's about me, teaching them how to fish, not so much giving them the fish.
Well, let's down and feast together. Let's feast on the fish together.
Yes. Gonna have a hukilau.
Yeah.
I think it's coming. Okay, so compiler's preface is next.
Yes, on the 9th.
That's it right
Connie
there.
and,
That's it.
Connie and Wilmot spoke for the first and the last part of the compiler's preface. Which one do you want, the second or the third? The second one is new laws and amendments of the old.
That matches what I just did today.
Okay, and then the third one is means and remedies. It's gonna be what I'm doing next week anyway, so.
Okay, yeah, then you can reiterate and expand.
Well, what I'm looking to do is key on means and remedies, yeah? Because there are different means being taken now, whether they're valid or not, but there still are other means that can be explored to apply remedies. But we have to know what the remedies are and whether they're good or not. What was that, OHA, the Reorganization Act then? The Reorganization Act, that was a remedy. They were trying to apply that as a remedy. It's not going anywhere now, right?
I'm not really sure, but and it can apply to the introduction I had, observation, interpretation, application.
Okay. Anything else, Connie?
Yeah, I gotta go make some lays and get
No.
one dinner. Okay.
We good. So yeah, good class, Jocelyn. Looking forward to Johanna's class next week.
Oh, pressure.
And
Really?
You is like, Connie, you would set the bar. I was like, what am I going to do? I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, I know you guys are competent. It's not like you guys not competent of holding your own. I mean, I just did. I did them that way because it's easier for me because I can go like we all can go 10,000 places.
Right.
But
you're right. It keeps us on point and not drift.
Yeah, and that's why the PowerPoint is good. It keeps you there, so you can get to your points and you can make those. Because once you make the PowerPoint, it's the most important points you need to make.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think, bro, today was awesome, man. That was a good lesson. Kamaunu's was awesome. So yeah, we on an awesome trip right now.
Okay.
All right. So anything else, anybody?
All right, I'm done.
Okay, I think we're gonna hang up too.
Okay.
All right. We all
Bye.
have a good day. Bye.
You too.